We are very accessible. Again, our office is, it's a revolving door, and that's great for other departments because, again, they come to us proactively rather than reactively, and that is a great benefit of having our office there. We do have a great deal of experience. We have very experienced attorneys that are there. I think that the average years of attorney time with the three of us that are there is probably over 20 years of practice as an attorney. So we've got that experience, and it's almost all in municipal law. And I've already talked about risk mitigation. Also, accountability. I report to you, and you tell me whether or not I'm meeting what your goals are, and whether or not I am facilitating what your interests are. And there is that accountability. Basically, again, we've gone over the conclusion, but the city is well served by having our city attorney's office. It does provide efficient and effective representation. It's significantly lower than the average rates. And also, I loved this. I love the fact that we talked about the Zucker report today. And it ties right in because in 2008, there was the Zucker report. And even at that time, I think that it was recognized that having our in-house office and being able to respond quickly and helping with that economic development really furthered the city's interests in moving forward. And I loved the quote. It said that the average score, 4.28, was the highest of all of the functions. And these are some of the best scores that we have seen. That was great when we got that. And again, we continually strive to have that reputation and to get comments like that. We strive to be an efficient and effective legal team. And that is my presentation, and I am happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions from council? I think your report was very thorough. Thank you, Laurie. I see that Councilman Slater has a question.
I don't have a question.
Or a comment.
Just from a personal and having contact with your office for many years, I view this presentation much like I do the planning department's presentation when it was given to us. That there are times when you should outsource. There are times when you should cut and all those things. And I think the intangibles are really what, from my perspective, bring the need. And the cost is one thing, but being able to have the intangibles is what separates it from having to outsource it, I think. So I thought it was very good.
Anybody else? Is this attorney to attorney?
No.
Councilwoman McGinnis.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you because I know that we asked this of you at a time where you're already under extra stress, and we're glad to hear that the hiring process is going along or whatever, so you'll get that seventh person to round yourself out and be sustainable. But we really do appreciate it. We saw many of these comments when we reviewed the ICMA report ourselves, but I think it's really important that it was put together in this fashion, very concise, and other people in the community are able to glean that same information. I think you did a great job, and you continue to do a great job for the city, so thanks.
Mayor Pro Tem Kerwin and then Councilman
Just
Slater.
real quick, somebody told me Tigers 3-2.
Which is very important.
But just many times when you get rid of something, you can never get it back. And I attribute that to the police department. If somebody ever decided to get rid of the police department, you could never get it back because the cost would be so astronomical to get that back. And so you can't make those kind of errors. You can't make an error with the police department. You can't make an error with the city attorney's office either, because if we got rid of it, we outsourced it out, we could never get it back. It would cost too much money. So I think it's a good idea to keep it in-house. In the long run, even if you tried it, you couldn't bring it back. And so I don't think we should even consider that whatsoever.
Mary Curran?
We've had 3 different reports which really came up with the same thing. You are efficient, you are effective. I just wanted to highlight one thing. As electeds, we're citizens, and we face an issue and may not see the implications that are there. And I really want to thank you, as our attorney, for stepping up and pointing out, please realize these things. And I know that having been a citizen planner, the wealth of cases dealing with zoning issues, as you pointed out, or with any other master plan, but also we've had citizen petitions and so on, which had implications on a statewide level for other municipalities. We would not have realized that at the time without your understanding. We need that expertise. And I would hope that this presentation that is handed on to the candidates who are running, and that councils going forward recognize what we've all known for a long time. You do an excellent job, and that your department is extraordinary.
Anything else to come before us? Yes, Councilman Fleming?
Just real quickly, excellent report. Just a question. Have you ever had the need to outsource, and how do you make that determination? There's going to be cases where you say, you know what, we've got all this expertise in-house, but look, we can be more efficient and effective to outsource this case. How do you make that determination?
Yeah, that does happen. Two examples really that I can think of. First of all, sometimes there is a situation where the city has been sued and also the officer has been sued. And in those types of situations, again, erring on the side of avoiding any potential conflict or perceived conflict, we will hire outside counsel for that. And generally, when that happens, we'll use the MMRMA's recommended counsel to recommend. They do a great job. We've seen the work. We work very well with them. So that is one situation. Another situation might be a bond issue. I have some knowledge of bonds, but I'm certainly not an underwriter's counsel, and certainly that's information that's going to go beyond my area of expertise. And in that situation, I will obtain prices. I'll generally ask other municipalities who they hire, who they use, and sometimes if I have a relationship, I can get discounts from them as much as we can. And so we will utilize that information, and we will hire them, again, for very limited purpose, trying to minimize the costs.
Councilman Howard?
I was just going to say, this is well organized, and you clearly put some time into it. I was wondering, perhaps you could have this on your city attorney's web page there, so that folks can easily access this. It does a really good job of explaining what goes on in your department.
Thank you, and that's an excellent suggestion, and we will make sure that happens.
Anything else, folks? Okay, we're in adjournment.
Go Tigers. Yeah.
Here you go.